The Devil and Father Amorth is a documentary directed by William Friedkin, and it premiered last year at the Venice Film Festival, and it was actually the first film that I saw there. And now it's being released theatrically in the US very soon, I don't remember when. So let's talk about it a little bit. And as most of you probably know, hopefully know, William Friedkin is a relatively famous director, and his most beloved film after The French Connection is The Exorcist, released in 1973-74. And almost 40 years later, he came back to the subject of exorcisms. And while back then he made a fictional movie, even though it was based on a book which was based on a true story, he actually documented a real-life exorcism made by Father Amorth, who is now dead. He was a priest with very interesting methods and beliefs, and he was rather old when this documentary was made, and he actually has passed away since. The documentary is split in two parts, essentially. The first part is a story like about the Exorcist, exorcism in general, and seeing the real-life exorcism filmed exclusively by William Friedkin, who was in this room with Father Amorth, the possessed woman, and her family members. And it is a peculiar scene. I don't know how it will work. I remember it was relatively controversial when it premiered, like some people were giggling, some people were terrified, and it all comes down to your beliefs. Your beliefs about God, about Satan, about possessions in general, and religious beliefs, more generally speaking. And if you're a religious person, this is a horror movie. This is pretty terrifying. But if you are more skeptic, more agnostic, atheist, whatever your beliefs are, you're probably gonna see it under a different light. And what I do like about this film is that it doesn't really judge anybody. That was something that I really appreciated about it, because it just presents uncut this, more or less uncut honestly, this exorcism. And I'm not gonna lie, it gets intense, and you start doubting what you hear, because there are moments when this woman is speaking and she has this weird voice with this guttural noise, and you can either see that as it was changed in post-production, or you can see it as it was the real voice that she was making, the real noises that she was making. So there is always this constant back and forth, and I was expecting the film to just be about this exorcism, but what actually makes it far more interesting, in my opinion, is what happens next. Because after that, you have some scenes with William Friedkin, who is, by the way, a really interesting guy. I'm actually more interested in watching more of his work, especially if he's made more documentaries, because he's a fascinating character, really funny person. And he just goes around the US showing the footage to medics, to professional people, to even priests, real exorcists, and it's interesting, it's fascinating. And there is this small little epilogue with the possessed woman that's weird and almost slightly out of place. And it makes you doubt a lot of things, like why didn't he film what he's saying right now. But honestly, I love this type of documentaries that are about unusual subject matters, documentaries that are filmed in peculiar ways. And honestly, I do highly recommend that you check out The Devil and Father Amorth. Even though it's not a particularly fantastic or even 100% memorable documentary, it is worth watching mainly for William Friedkin, who is, as I've said, an amazing person, really funny, and the exorcism scene alone. Those two things are the key to the success of this documentary, and the rest is actually pretty darn interesting, especially the second half. But honestly, yeah, it's worth watching, especially if you really like this subject matter, exorcisms, demons, possessions. If you like those things, check it out. It's pretty darn interesting, almost suspenseful, and it doesn't give you an answer in the end. So that's always something that I like. It leaves it up to the audience to decide what's real and what isn't. So honestly guys, check out Devil and Father Amorth. But still, have you already watched this documentary and do you like The Exorcist? Which is your favorite William Friedkin movie? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.